Hello everyone, it's Scott, and today we're looking at Azorius Soldiers in Best of 3 in Standard. So our main deck is 100% creatures and lands, and then we've got removal that will bring in for games 2 and 3 based on the opponent. Hopefully that's going to be a recipe for success for us. We're hopefully winning game 1s and then being able to adjust from there to be more competitive in games 2 and 3. So what do we got here? We got 4 recruitment officers and 4 Yotian Frontliners to get in the 1 drop spot. We've got 3 Harbins, hopefully getting Harbin late in the game and being able to activate his ability by attacking with 5 or more soldiers and go over everybody. We have a copy of Dennick to protect the graveyard and also give us some life gain. We've got 4 Valiant Veterans to pump up our team. We've got 4 Thalias, Guardians of Thraben, to make the opponent's spells a little bit more expensive if they're casting non-creature spells. We got 4 Resolute Reinforcements to get a lot of soldiers in play. We've got 3 Skystrike Officers. Again, they serve a dual purpose. First, it gives us a flyer in the deck, and a 1/1 creature anytime it attacks. But also we can tap 3 untapped soldiers to draw a card, which you'll be able to do frequently in the deck. So we should have a pretty good draw engine going once we get a Skystrike Officer in place. We've got 4 copies of Siege Veteran because we want to get a +1/+1 counter on one of our creatures every turn. And also when a non-token soldier I control dies, then we get a 1/1 colorless soldier artifact creature token. So that helps out as well. And then for removal purposes, we've got 4 copies of Brutal Cathar. And then in our last spot here, we've got Myrel, Shield of Argive, for 4 mana. And really this is the top end of our deck. And the point here is if we can keep Myrel in play for a turn and attack, then we double the number of soldiers that we have on the field, and basically it's going to make it very hard for the opponent on the next turn to be able to block enough of them to prevent us from getting a lethal attack in. So that's the core of the main deck. Okay, we've got a copy of Eiganjo in the mana base. We've got 6 plains, 3 islands, an Otawara, 3 copies of Adarkar Wastes, 4 Fortified Beaches, 3 Cavern of Souls, a Plaza of Heroes, and a Secluded Courtyard. So the mana base is good for us because we've got mostly things that are going to be able to come into play untapped. We don't have anything that's going to come into play tapped, so that'll help us out quite a bit. Now in the sideboard, I've got a couple of copies of Surge of Salvation to prevent black damage and red damage, and also then give us hexproof. Got a couple copies of Destroy Evil to take out threats like Rafine or Shealdred. A couple copies of Get Lost to deal with creatures, enchantments, or planeswalkers. A couple copies of Loran of the Third Path to deal with enchantments or artifacts. 2 copies of Disdainful Stroke to deal with those big creature spells like Shealdred. 3 copies of Make Disappear. And then finally we've got Seal from Existence, which is a catch-all enchantment that can exile any non-land permanent an opponent controls, and it has Ward 3, which I think is important, so it'll be harder for the opponent to go ahead and get around that. Alright, so let's get into some gameplay. Alright, so playing Azorius Soldiers. I'm actually playing the Soldiers version, not what is really Azorius aggro here. So let's take a look at what we got. This is a decent opening hand for us because we want to go wide with this deck as much as possible, so we'll keep this and go from there. Okay, opponent down to 6. That helps us out just a little bit. Okay, and we've got our Myrel. Okay, so okay, good. So on turn 3, we'll be able to do that. We'll go ahead and attack here, and we'll play Resolute Reinforcements on the opponent's turn. And then if we can draw our 4th land, we'll be able to play Myrel. Okay, they play a Godric, so they're moving quickly here. Okay, opponent chooses not to attack. Interesting. Go ahead and do this. And we get that. And I'm going to go ahead and Siege Veteran here. and put the token on Recruitment Officer. So if they want to block with Godric, they can, and we'll take Godric out, but we would get a 1/1 token. Okay, so they choose not to. Good for us. Again, we're looking for a land, or we can play Recruitment Officer and Yotian Frontliner. Okay, they're going to Molten Collapse our Siege Veteran, which is okay. Okay, they decide to not attack again. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and play nothing at this point. And we'll go ahead and attack with our Recruitment Officer again, seeing if they'll block. If not, we get them down to 12. Okay, and then I'm going to play Yotian Frontliner here over over our Recruitment Officer, because I want to get as wide as I possibly can, just in case we do find a good spell here. All right, so we're going to lose our Recruitment Officer, so we're losing our best attacker, but we'll come back and we'll play Resolute Reinforcements on their turn. We'll see if they attack with Godric this turn. And they choose not to. We'll play another Resolute Reinforcements. Getting our count up to 5. Okay, we get a Cavern of Souls. We'll say Soldiers. And we'll play Myrel. And this is a huge one for us, because now we're going to be able to create, when she attacks next turn, assuming she makes it to next turn, she's going to be able to give us 7, 8, potentially 10 soldier creature tokens. So hopefully she'll survive the turn, and we'll go from there. And we're at 20 life, so we're not in danger of losing very quickly to that. But unfortunately, they're going to get Bloodthirsty Adversary to take Molten Collapse back, so we're going to lose our Myrel. And unfortunately, unless we get something here, the opponent's in pretty good position at this point, because we haven't gotten a lot of value and they have. All right, we'll play a Thalia, slow them down just a little bit, and we'll pass the turn, and we'll play our Resolute Reinforcements next turn, and hopefully we can get something that will boost our team here a little bit, because that's what we really need at this point. Okay, opponent not playing anything again. Probably has some removal in hand. Okay, and we're very wide at this point. Yeah, I guess we'll show him our Recruitment Officer. Okay, we're going to play our Recruitment Officer and then activate our Recruitment Officer to go ahead and draw a card, which is important for us here, so we can hopefully get something that's going to be helpful. Good, we got Valiant Veteran, which is an outstanding card for us to get here. We're not going to attack. We've got a lot of cards on the field. We've got 9 creatures right now, and the opponent only has 3, so we have the ability to potentially, at least, take out the opponent next turn. We'll see what they're going to do here. Okay, they use the Evolved Sleeper ability. Okay, and they're down to 2 mana. So they could have a cut down that would be useful here, but we'll have to see what they've got. Okay, they have another Bloodthirsty Adversary, so they have another blocker. And we're going to start with Valiant Veteran, and then we'll play Harbin to win the game, because Harbin's going to make all of our guys flyers, and we take game 1. All right. So very interesting the way the opponent was playing that. They were playing really defensive. So we'll have to kind of see how we want to deal with things here. I'm going to bring 2 Seal from Existence in, and then 2 Make Disappears. I'm going to take out a Recruitment Officer and a Frontliner, and one of the copies of Thalia. Okay, and we'll stick with the rest of it. And Surge of Salvation might have been a better play there, but because we're on the draw, I want that ability to potentially counter spells, so that's why I went that direction. Alright, so we got a good opening hand here. Okay, opponent gets their Reckoner. So their Reckoner Ray comes out. They're gonna gain 2. We'll lose 2 because of that, and then it'll become a 2/2 creature with menace. Okay, they get another one, so they're kind of rolling in those right now, but that's okay for us. We'll go ahead with Thalia here, making their stuff a little bit more expensive. And then next turn we can go with Skystrike Officer. Okay, they play a Bloodthirsty Adversary. Okay, and again, I'm going to go with Skystrike Officer here, and the reason for Skystrike Officer is I'd rather have the ability to draw some cards at this point, given where we are. And next turn we can either Seal from Existence or Brutal Cathar, whichever one makes more sense. Okay, opponent does nothing. We'll go ahead and activate. Drawing a card here. Okay, we get a second Thalia, we get another Brutal Cathar. So because we're getting another Brutal Cathar, and I know they don't have any enchantment removal, so I'm just going to play this, and I'm going to take out that. And now we'll play conservatively here at this point. And again, we want to be able to draw that extra card. So we'll do Skystrike Officer, get in 2. And then next turn again, we can Brutal Cathar or Seal from Existence. And basically, I think at this point, we're looking for one of our okay, good. We got Harbin there, so perfect card for us to get. And now we can go ahead and, you know, really start using things. And this is going to be an important card for us. And we'll go ahead and attack, get them down to 15. And they'll have us at 8, but we'll be able to take one of those out. Oh, that's really unfortunate for us. So we're going to have to go ahead and use our Brutal Cathar here. Hopefully they don't have removal. If they do, it's going to be a blowout. And in this situation, I am going to play Harbin, but I'm playing Harbin more because I know I'm going to need blockers. And the ones that I don't want to block, I'm just going to go ahead and drive through. And we got 6 1/1s there, so as long as we can block, we'll be okay. Even if they do get Bloodletter of Aclazad back by killing Brutal Cathar, we'll still be able to block. And that's the big thing. And Myrel's already done her job, creating 6 1/1s for us. You know, that makes it very difficult on the opponent unless they have a board wipe here. Opponent scoops it up. All right. All right, game number 1. Playing Azorius Soldiers, and we go first, so we'll get, this is a good hand for us. We'll play that. We'll show them Recruitment Officer, who we're going to put immediately into play. And then depending on our draw out here, we'll either play Resolute Reinforcements, or we'll go ahead and play our Frontliners. And I think, you know, the fact that they're playing Azorius, I just want to get as many things on the field before they can potentially counter something. And this puts them in a lot of jeopardy early with 3 creatures to deal with on turn 2, basically. And then we can either, if we have the mana for it, we can Siege Veteran. We don't, so we'll just go ahead and attack here. And we'll place our Resolute Reinforcements on their turn. Looks like they've got something. Okay. They're going to be able to block one of our creatures. Okay, they take out one of the Frontliners. But the good news for us is that Frontliner can come back at a later date. Okay, opponent plays Rafine. going to play Resolute Reinforcements, get some more attackers down. Okay, we're going to play our Valiant Veteran so we can attack through. And I guess we'll make them choose here. So they're going to take 7 no matter what. Okay, so we've got them down to 7. And if we're fortunate enough to get a Harbin here, we can win it on the next turn. All right, opponent. Wow, we got the Harbin. All right, let's see if they've got an answer for Harbin. Looks like they don't. And they scoop it up. All right. You know, that's the advantage of this deck. Even with 2 lands, it can do a lot of good things. All right, so I think what we're going to do, because we know they have the Rafines, we'll bring in Destroy Evils, because we also know that they're going to then have typically Shealdreds. And go ahead and take out Recruitment Officer, Frontliner for that. I'm going to take out also a Thalia here, as they're not playing much of that stuff, so it's going to kind of more hurt me than them. And I'm going to actually bring in a couple of Seal from Existence. I think that'll help us balance things out in this one. All right, 1 lander. We're going to obviously go ahead and mulligan this. Okay, better. I hate to do it, but we're going to go ahead and get rid of the Resolute Reinforcements because I want to have that Destroy Evil in case we run into that problem. Okay, play our Recruitment Officer again. And then we'll play our Thalia. See what they're going to play here. They're going to play a Deep Cavern Bat. Okay, and they take our Valiant Veteran. Okay, we get that. So now the opponent can't counter anything. And we'll go ahead and attack because they're not likely to block here. Our opponent down to 17. And now we can either destroy evil on the next turn if we have an appropriate card to play against, or we can go ahead and deal with Skystrike. You bring our Skystrike Officer into play. Okay, and I'll bring Skystrike Officer. So that gives us a blocker for the bat as well. And then we can also draw cards off of it. Okay, we'll see what the opponent does here. Okay, they're going to go ahead and take out this. So we're just going to go ahead and activate, so at least it replaces itself in terms of the cards, even though we're going to take a little damage here. Okay. All right. Didn't get the 4th land that we needed for our Myrel, but we'll be okay for next turn. See when we can get that 4th land, then we can really go ahead and start moving. And they get their Rafine, so really could use a 4th land here to go ahead and take out Rafine. Okay, we get our 4th land, which is great. And we will destroy evil, taking out the Rafine. Pay the ward cost there. And we'll say go. And the good news is they're keeping their Dennick back instead of attacking with it. So that helps us a little bit as well. They're not doing as much damage, and they're definitely not gaining a bunch of life. Okay, opponent again, just attacking with a Deep Cavern Bat. All right, we get our 5th land. We'll go with Myrel, okay, which they can't counter. But we'll see if they've got some form of removal. Because I wouldn't be surprised if they have a go for the throat or something at this point. Okay, we'll wait for next turn. Because again, we're going to want to create all those tokens, and then hopefully we can find a way to get our Valiant Veteran back or draw another one. Opponent. Okay, using Otawara. Okay, that's fine. That's not a big deal. Okay, playing a wedding announcement, which is a pain. But again, they're not doing a lot of damage, so you know we can survive this. Okay, play Myrel again. No attack. Let's see what the opponent has. They've got a Virtue of Loyalty. So that's a little bit concerning for us at this point, that they have that Virtue of Loyalty. Okay, we're going to activate here. See what we can get here. We get a Siege Veteran. Okay. And unfortunately, we're going to go, I'm going to go ahead and attack here because next turn they're going to get their Virtue of Loyalty down, which puts them in a really, really advantageous situation. So we'll see what they do here. They don't block at all, interestingly. Okay, so they must have something that they think that they can get around with here. They have a Wandering Emperor to get rid of it. Okay, so there's their answer. And unfortunately, Wandering Emperor just, you know, is unfortunately for us a really powerful card, and they've pretty much taken over the game at this point. The good news, though, is because we're at 6 land, we actually can now get some things going here. We'll be able to draw a bunch of cards next turn. And I'm going to put a counter there, and we'll end the turn. And our really what now we want to see is a Harbin, because Harbin's the one card that can really turn the game around. Okay, opponent's good in +1/+1 counter to their Deep Cavern Bat. And they play the Virtue of Loyalty. Okay, so that means it's going to be a fast to end. Let it resolve. Okay, and now we'll activate this and just tap everything that we have, and we'll do this a number of different times. Yeah, we'll get as many things as we can get here. So we do have 6 lands, so that gives us the ability to do a lot. Okay, so we got a couple Brutal Cathars actually, which is really important for us. So we'll play this, we'll play a Brutal Cathar, and we'll take the bat down, okay, which helps us with Valiant Veteran. That on the field, get this on the field. And now we've really gone wide. And I'm going to go ahead and make that a 4/4. And we'll just go ahead and kill their Wandering Emperor this turn. And again, leave ourselves in a position where, A, we've got plenty of blockers, but B, we'll also be able to draw a lot of cards next turn. And next turn, then we can go ahead and use our Brutal Cathar to go ahead and remove some stuff. And we'll see what they're going to do here now that they have a Rafine. Okay, they're going to play their Anchorage, get something in the air. And we have 15 creatures. Okay, we're down to 9. And they have 6. And really it's not even 6 because we're going to take one of them away. Okay. And obviously they're going to get the counter here. Alright. And we get another Cavern of Souls. We'll put it again on Soldiers. And let's do this. We're going to take out Dennick because the Dennick is the one thing that matters here. Oh, and I messed up there. I was supposed to go ahead and I went through that too fast. we're going to activate, see what we get here. All right, we'll take the Siege Veteran. But with only 5 blockers, we're just going to attack with all 15 creatures here. And we're going to get some activations. Put one there. Put one there. Okay, so we're in a pretty good position at this point because they've got a block, so we'll be able to take a few things out. But more importantly, we have so much damage going that's going to get through. I think we just win anyways. Okay, our initial damage there. Yep, got him. All right. Take game 2. Take match number 2. All right, and beating Esper there, the Esper deck that's, one of the top 2 decks in the format probably right now. That tells me that we're in a pretty good position with this deck. And we're back for a post-game wrap. Look at our deck. So let's talk about how the Azorius Soldiers deck overall has done. I played a lot with, mostly starting in Best 1 to see if the deck could be competitive in Game 1. And it really was. It went very well for me in Best of 1. In Best of 3, it was more of a hit or miss situation where, won 50% of the time or so. But I think the deck has the possibility of being good in Standard. The question is, can we get the support package and the sideboard right? Because I think part of the reason I was losing some of those games, I really didn't have the right sideboard package for it. But on the play, it's winning at 80% and 50% on the draw, overall 70%. So potentially a very good deck going forward. But we got to figure out, I think, more of how the sideboard's going to go for the deck to really tune it in to have a chance to be more than a B or C tier deck in Standard. All right, so we'll see you next time.